Moving on now, it's a new low in Indian politics. Congress candidate from Saharanpur has been booked for openly threatening to kill BJP's prime ministerial candidate Narendra Modi, prompting the BJP to lash out and demand immediately action against this leader by the Election Commission. The question really is, will Rahul Gandhi act against Imran Masood, or would he attend a rally which is expected in Saharanpur tomorrow?
मैं दिल्ली बैठ के राजनीति नहीं करता, मैं लखनऊ बैठ के राजनीति नहीं करता, मैं तो सड़क का आदमी अपने साथी के लिए मार भी दूंगा और मर भी जाऊंगा।
Provocative speech.
नरेंद्र मोदी से कौन लड़ेगा? इमरान मोदी लड़ेंगे जो ठोक के जवाब देना जाने।
Inciting words.
वो गुजरात समझ रहा 4% मुसलमान है गुजरात में, यहाँ 42% मुसलमान है, यहाँ गुजरात बना देगा।
And a threat to kill the BJP prime ministerial candidate Narendra Modi. Congress candidate from Saharanpur has been caught on camera threatening to chop Modi into pieces during an election rally.
मैं मरने से डरता, मैं मारने से डरता, दोनों से नहीं डरता। और भाई ड्रामेबाजी करने को कोई कुछ ही कर ले, नरेंद्र मोदी से कौन लड़ेगा? इमरान मोदी लड़ेंगे जो ठोक के जवाब देना जाने को मोदी को, मोदी के ठोक के। वो गुजरात समझ रहा 4% मुसलमान है गुजरात में, यहाँ 42% मुसलमान है, यहाँ गुजरात बना देगा।
After the matter came to light, a case was registered against Masood at Devbad police station in Saharanpur. But the man in question remains defiant. Expectedly, the BJP has condemned the remark and has sought the Election Commission's intervention.
हम चुनाव आयोग से यह अनुरोध करेंगे कि वो इस विषय का संज्ञान ले और इस पर प्रभावी कार्रवाई करें।
Even known Modi baiters refused to look the other way.
It is the same Congress party which earlier made allegations of politics of polarization on BJP and the Samajwadi Party for such similar statements made by their party leaders. The party may now be trying to distance itself from the verbal attack launched by Imran Masood on Narendra Modi. But what happens tomorrow when Rahul Gandhi comes into Saharanpur to campaign for the same leader? Will Rahul Gandhi have the courage to deny his party ticket to Imran Masood? With camera person Harish Kantpal, this is Amir Haq in Lucknow for Headlines Today.
All right, Amir Haq, our correspondent who got us that report, is now joining us live. Also, we have BJP spokesperson Nalin Kohli with us and Abid Rasool Khan of the Congress party. Before I come across to my Congress and BJP guests, let me quickly get in a word from Amir Haq. Now, Amir, the point that you were actually mentioning about, in the FIR, what all are the sections that have, this particular leader has been booked under? And what interestingly is about to happen tomorrow as far as the Congress party vice president is concerned?
Well, Imran Masood has been booked under very stringent sections, including Section 153A, 295 and the Public Representation Act. There are sections which can, invite imprisonment up to 7 years for Imran Masood. But the fact is that, the Congress party, although, however, it might call this incident unfortunate, it is also at a loss to understand why did Imran Masood go ahead and make such a statement, because this is one verbal tirade which will only go on to benefit their rival parties. In fact, the BJP and Narendra Modi are directly to benefit from what Imran Masood has said. So definitely a huge embarrassment for the Congress party, and although they haven't come out and as yet spoken about any stringent action to be taken against Imran Masood, also they could have denied the ticket to Imran Masood. But it will be very interesting to see tomorrow if at all Rahul Gandhi visits Saharanpur. Will he actually campaign for Imran Masood or not, or will he deny him the ticket that has been given by the Congress party to him?
Okay, Amir, do stay on. Let's quickly ask that question to our Congress representative on the panel. Abid Rasool Khan, will your party, number one, deny a ticket to Mr. Imran Masood for making what we would stick our neck out and say a ridiculous comment? And number two, will your Congress vice president actually go and campaign for him?
Sanket, there are two issues in your question. The first issue is our party has made it very clear that we very strongly condemn the remarks made by Imran Masood, and we as a party stand by the that we will not not use any language or any action which is against the law or which hurts anybody or which hurts any community or any person. That is very clear, and we are following that. As far as your second question about the action that the party would take, I would like to say as a spokesperson that the party is seized of the matter and the party is discussing it at the highest level, and action which would be in line with the statements and the thinking of the party and its high command and our Vice President Rahul Gandhi.
There is a rally which is expected tomorrow.
Yes.
I hope you realize if Rahul Gandhi holds a rally tomorrow in Saharanpur, it will be seen as an open endorsement, quite contrary to the position that you are taking right now on Headlines Today. Mr. Khan, we'll try to fix that audio problem. There seems to be some audio glitch. I apologize to our viewers. We'll come across to you once again with that question. But Nalin Kohli, you heard the first part of what Mr. Khan was actually trying to say, and we'll try to get his view on whether Rahul Gandhi is going to endorse this particular leader or not. But what is the position of your party? Because then there'll be a follow-up.
I have 3 points to bring up. The first is this is unprecedented because a Congress candidate has not only openly incited violence, but he has spoken about cutting the prime ministerial candidate of the BJP into pieces. This is, I think, unprecedented. We haven't seen that happen at such a scale. Second is the Congress party may say anything and it's not their thinking, but Mr. Rahul Gandhi is on record to point out that the Congress is not a party but an ideology or a thinking. It represents a thinking. And if you notice the language used against Mr. Narendra Modi consistently, from Mrs. Sonia Gandhi's Maut ke Saudagar to Zahar ki Kheti, to calling him impotent, a monkey by Salman Khurshid, to the Gujarat president of the Congress party calling him a monkey, using words like scorpion, snake, etc. There have been no limits to what they have said about Mr. Modi over the last many years. But this certainly becomes important because this is coming about inciting violence against a prime ministerial candidate who's threatened by security, who has already recently been in a rally in Bihar. Our party has suffered from a terrorist attack, and I think this is dangerous. Why it's dangerous? Because our agenda is clearly development, price rise, the economic condition, unemployment, women's security, the farmers' issue, whereas the Congress party is consistently working towards making this an election of polarization, of fear, and trying to incite,
it's only too interesting, Mr.
religious
Kohli.
sentiments as well as violence.
Mr. Kohli, it's only too interesting that the allegation that you actually mount on the Congress party is the same allegation that they mount on you. I mean, they would cite Muzaffarnagar. They would cite 2009 Pilibhit.
Yeah.
I hope you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yes, I know. You are referring to the case of Mr. Varun Gandhi.
Absolutely.
And perhaps you would also like to recall, he did spend 21 days in jail. And of course, the due legal process had gone very stringently against it. We never approved of those comments. We first wanted the verification of it. And certainly, we advised him against it. And we did not interfere with the law. If you look at it from the Congress party's perspective, I'd like to see which case has the Congress party not interfered in. It took the Supreme Court to actually write off the 122 licenses of 2G in the scam. They called it a zero loss. The same holds true for everything. Salman Khurshid using words like impotent, Sonia Gandhi. So I mean, I'm saying it flows from the top to the bottom. So today, here's a candidate who has taken it to the next level. He's inciting violence. And I would like to ask bluntly, do we believe that citizens of India, irrespective whether they are Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, Christians or any other religion, they are not bothered by price rise, they are not bothered by unemployment, by the economy, by women's security? So what is this? The Congress is on a negative mindset, and this is a dangerous ideology that they are trying to spread.
Now, Mr. Abid Rasool Khan, before we actually lost you, the question that was posed to you was whether your Congress Vice President is actually going to campaign for this leader. Because then it will go contrary to the position that you are taking here.
Seized of the matter, and which will be in line of our thinking, in line of our policy.
All right, Mr. Khan, we'll come back to you. There seems to be some terrible problem with that audio. We'll fix that and be back with you. But Nalin, the point is that you know, you are choosing this as a political opportunity to attack the entire senior leadership of the Congress party. First of all, let me start by asking you, I mean, hypothetically, what your party would have done if a similar situation were to arise, where there would be a campaigning lined up the very next day. What would your senior leadership do?
Well, I'll give you a straight answer on this. Mr. Modi as the prime ministerial candidate and our party president, Mr. Rajnath Singh, I can tell you this on the record, they will not be found supporting anyone who's talking about inciting violence against the prime ministerial candidate. We have our political fights. We are within our political rights to raise our points and put it across to the public, as naturally the Congress would do, the BJP and every political party.
Interestingly,
but to
Mr.
go to the
Kohli,
extent of saying there are four.
Interestingly, Mr. Kohli,
the Congress party throughout. Yes.
Mr. Kohli, interestingly, in the same Uttar Pradesh, we have had a situation where before their acquittal, the riot-accused MLAs were paraded on the stage where your prime ministerial candidate was supposed to come. That is why I asked the question in the manner...
You didn't have asked me. No, yeah. Sanket. Yeah, sure. You wouldn't have needed to ask this question because actually I was going to say it as part of the extension of my answer. With regard to Muzaffar, first I'll start with Gujarat because it was raised. Gujarat for 12 years, no man as Mr. Modi has been vilified and so immensely scrutinized by every process under law, investigation, and what did it come out at the end. The same is about, let's come to Muzaffarnagar. In Muzaffarnagar, the Samajwadi Party, which can never be seen on the same side as the BJP, and likewise we would never be seen standing next to the Samajwadi Party politically, they couldn't even hold the charges against our MLAs, and you are holding it against us now. Where is the SIT report? Are you trying to tell us that is there a single apology from Mrs. Gandhi, from Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and consistently by everyone who raised questions on Mr. Modi? So are we just going to go by the lies and absolute fabrication of facts and misuse of process of law just because a set of sympathizers of the Congress party and others through various fronts are out there to build a campaign of an agenda of hate? Well, I don't buy this argument.
Well, Mr.
We
Kohli,
will stand on facts and we will be held accountable for every mistake of ours based on facts, not on views.
Will you take, let's get a news point out of this particular discussion, because we have been grossly unfair, and I'm sure you would also admit, to the Congress party because of a technical glitch. Will you take this matter to the Election Commission?
Well, I think today it has been already said during the press conference and by our spokesperson, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, that this matter is going to go to the Election Commission. I think time has probably been given tomorrow.
Okay.
The exact details would be out. And certainly it's going to go. And even if we didn't, I'm sure the Election Commission would be taking suo motu cognizance, because the Election Commission of India has a remarkable history and also a commitment towards violence-free elections. We've seen that. Unfortunately, the atmosphere is getting vitiated, and I would say this on the record, not because of the BJP.
All right, Mr. Nalin Kohli, Abid Rasool Khan, please do stay on with us. We'll try to fix that technical glitch that we are facing with Mr. Abid Rasool Khan's audio.